drank over there. Hi guys, how are you? Give it a couple minutes for everybody to get their notifications and to jump on. We're super excited to be with you guys again on another Wednesday. We always look forward to it. Mark doesn't. I'm usually sitting where he sits, so and I pulled the screen like a lot closer, so like we don't have to like reach across to kind of navigate. I see why you take care of the comments from this side though, because like your right hand is like right on. I see.
There's a method to it.
And there's a method to the madness. But today on a Wednesday, we are still in quarantine. We're almost done. And I will be sad when I have to go back to work. Because I've gotten used to being around this big old lug over here. It just looks at me. Yeah. I've gotten used to being around my family a lot. And it always makes me super sad when I have to go back to work.
Loud can pop.
Yeah, it was a loud can pop. He like waited specifically for us to get on here before he was like, I'm gonna let this can rip. I'm gonna let my hair down. Hey Gibby, how are you? Hey Tasha. Tasha, are you following me? I was like over there with my fingers crossed. I'm like, I want me some Norman eggs. And when I say that, I'm talking about Old Reading Farm. We just came from their live. It's Wednesdays are like a live extravaganza. We start off at Sweet Pea Farm NY with Michelle, then we go to John and Kat's over at Old Reading Farm, and then we wind up here with our own shenanigans. Yes, you're my stalker. That's okay.
Congrats to your husband.
Yeah, I saw that in I saw that in one of our comments. I meant to reply, but then life got psychotic again for a little bit outside. So
hello,
hey
Tinker's
Margie,
wife.
hello Tinker's wife. Tinker's wife, your name's Patty, right? I always get so afraid sometimes to call people by their names because I do not want to call them the wrong name, but I'm pretty sure your name is Patty. Hey Wild Ones, how are you? Sasha, I never win anything either. It's okay. I go and I'm like, maybe this will be the one time that I will have luck on my side when it comes to drawing, but it never happens, which is cool. Like I totally go there to support them because I like them and I like their content, and I really want to see emus being hatched over there. So that's super, super awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Hey, Healthy Homestead Chick. Well, thank you. Old Reading's awesome. I love hanging out in their chats. Adrian is in the house.
Yep, we're feeling better.
Yeah, we're feeling good.
Ashley tested negative. And so
yeah, I went on, what was it, Thursday? And they stuck the swab up my nose, or they made me stick the swab up my nose, and then kind of like told me, I guess I wasn't putting up there far enough, because she's like, you need to get it up in there a little bit further. So was not appreciative of
get this. So she's got most of last week off.
Yeah.
And then all this week, I'm the one that tested positive, and I got 1 day off work.
I think he's a little salty.
Yeah,
I think he's a little bit salty. Yeah, but I called. So on the university, we have like a health center that we get free access to while we're there. So I called them and I'm like, since my husband tested positive and I was feeling fatigue and I was being winded, which I'm still getting winded. I guess I'm just fat. It's okay. But I called them and I was like, you guys want me to come in and get tested because HR recommended that I probably go get tested, you know? And they're like, do not step foot on this campus. We don't want you here. Figure it out some other way. Some were like, just write out your quarantine. Don't even worry about testing. But yeah. I wanted to know because I needed to make sure that my quarantine period was correct. Yep. Instead of going back to work too soon and possibly giving it to somebody that was immunocompromised or took it home to their family. Hello, Emma.
Hey, Emma.
Got all kinds of people coming in. How is everybody doing tonight? Enough about us being negative and positive. How are you guys doing? We want to know how you are. Yeah, literally. Literally. You usually are the positive one and I'm the negative one, so that makes
results
sense.
Showed it.
I know that makes sense.
Hey, Tasha.
Our wood chip garden, Morgan. Hi, how are you? Hello,
because you tested negative doesn't mean we've
that's
heard
what we had wondered. I'm like,
yeah.
I wonder if it was a false negative, but my work was like, nah, it's cool. Just come back after 10 days. So
the newbie stutters, hello.
Hello, Evelyn. How are
Wednesday
you?
to you as well.
Did Patty see Patty? Now I'm gonna call you Patty. Did she confirm that's her name? I got talking and then it must be Patty because Adrian said Patty.
Yep, you got it right.
Yay! My memory's working today. Yeah. Did you guys know people from do you guys know that now, Gibby, we are in a homesteader specific YouTube group on Facebook, and Danelle is in that group. She's super sweet, but we don't know them personally. I would love to meet them personally. Actually, like whenever they have kids born, I'm sure they have a waiting list, but I'm always like, if Willow has another baby, like let me know. I want it shipped to me, because shipping goats is actually a thing. It's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Emma said she's getting ready to eat dinner, so hungry. Don't blame her.
Oh, what are you going to eat?
Yeah.
We had McDonald's. It was not so great. It's not negativity. It's realism.
That's funny.
It is funny. Oh, Lord.
And Healthy Homestead Chick said it started cold and then ended up a beautiful day here, so I got to work in the garden. That's always a great day.
That is good. We are so far from working in the garden right now.
Yeah. Although Ashley was looking at videos today from last year.
Yeah, from like almost a year ago. And I'm like, I was getting ready to start seeds.
Yeah.
And I've got all my seeds. I just haven't like put them together, do a seed haul, or to show you guys anything like that.
And today was so weird. It was like sort of cold out, but then the sun came out and started melting a lot of the snow.
But it was like really cold.
Yeah, but this weekend's going to be like.
Yeah, we're going to be in the negatives on Saturday night into Sunday.
Yeah.
Because we're actually going to pull blood on our goats. It's like our to-do on Saturday. And I moved it to Saturday so we wouldn't be out in negative temperatures. I'm like, I really do not want to be wrestling goats negative.
It's like, no, it's too cold for that. So.
What did Tasha say?
So just trying to figure out if we move out there, because if we don't, I will only see my husband on the weekends. Oh, that's a hard choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do in this area, and plus we're here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come say hello.
Yeah. I know how fun.
Cincy is not a bad area to be around in, honestly.
Yeah, there's some things about it.
We drove an hour and a half to work in Fairfield, Ohio, which is around Cincy.
Old Reading.
Hello, Old Reading. You guys did so good on your giveaway. I was a little bummed I didn't get Norman eggs though, but that's all right. I'll still watch your stuff.
Gibby said, "I really want one of Tilly's babies."
I know. I'm hoping like this weekend that I was so bummed yesterday when she put out. Was it yesterday? It was Monday when she put out her notice that she was gonna have a video that day. I'm like, because I love Weedham and Reed. That's like the person that got me started into YouTube and being like, hey, I kind of want to share. So because she's just got such a really like positive attitude about things. And hey, Indiana Backyard Gardener, how are you? You're going to rainbowify your garden. I really am thinking about doing like my.
Don't push her. She likes tie-dye.
I love tie-dye. I love tie-dye. I like colorful stuff. So.
Can you give them a sneak peek? Comment on your next.
Oh yeah,
Well, you don't have to show.
It's for Friday. I will show. You guys are here, so you're my people. So I will show you.
It's pretty cool. So it goes with the whole rainbow pie thing.
Yeah, I can
so.
We've always got to be extra.
She spent some time doing this the other day.
You guys will see this on Friday. Look what I painted. And then.
So we got some custom, unique shallows there.
I got it.
For our
it's
bee
like
hugs.
opposite of what. So closer to you. So you guys see? Yeah. You guys will see that on Friday. That's not the only one I painted.
If the bees didn't get attracted to colors so bad, I'm sure she'd wear tie-dye.
I would. Actually, they're more attractive. They hate me in black. I can't wear black in the summertime. They come after me. Oh, man, what we got going on there? But yeah, we love color.
So Emma said we're having tortas de
tinga de pollo. Tortas are Mexican sub sandwiches, and tinga is a slow-cooked chicken and spices and chipotle pepper. That sounds like
that sounds amazing.
Emma, that sounds so good. Sounds way better than McDonald's.
Yeah,
super
honest.
We had to go pick up Joe from his sister's house. So.
Man, that sounds awesome.
And it was only McDonald's on the way home. That sucked. I wish it was like the days when I was young again, where I liked McDonald's a lot and looked forward to it. When I was a little kid. I don't look forward to it anymore.
Tasha said, where this plant is it's on the border of Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio. Okay, so we know right where that. So like Lawrenceburg's close to that
area. Are you guys in the Ohio area, or like where are you? Is it in Ohio?
Yeah.
It's gonna be right down there in that area.
There's a big power plant down there.
There is a big power plant down there. We go down there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty nice area too.
Weedham and Reeve are great, Patty. Like I really like them a lot, and they've expanded. They do a lot more things than they used to, which makes me super happy. Yes, Old Reading Farm, Wednesday Night Love.
You're getting some pats on the back there about your artistic skills. Yeah, she was working on that the other day.
Yeah, for many hours. It's really fun taking like 6 hours of painting and making it down to like 10 minutes.
And then she'd say like, I'm painting a pretty little honeycomb here, and start doing her Bob Ross. No, just kidding.
Yeah. We are going to have like a painting live. I had it set for tomorrow, but I deleted it because I felt like one today and then like doing one tomorrow. And Joe's got a doctor's appointment and all that good stuff. So I will be doing that Friday. So I will have a live at some point during the day on Friday with like just painting and like chilling out, talking with you guys. Hey, Ubit Doobie. Ubit Doobie. I like that name. That's a pretty sweet name. I do like that. Have fun editing, Adrian. I know that's like super not fun. I don't like editing. I'm sure you edit a lot.
Quite a bit of time lately doing that. So
well, we're in quarantine, so I have nothing better to do.
Emma said it's super easy to make. The slow cooker does all the work. I can send you the recipe. Yes,
because we we really appreciated that mukbang mess up with the cheese fondue. Like we laughed for a long time after our live last Wednesday watching
and I mentioned to some guy at work, he's like, "Oh, I love watching mukbang." I'm like,
we're not cultured.
Apparently we're behind the times.
We are.
So, hey, Quaint Acres, Wild and Wonderful. Good to have you in tonight.
Yes, it's nice to see you. Host, I'm from Semi-Military Organization, NCC. I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I don't know what that is. Tell me more. I think my lunchtime live for Friday will be me carving. What?
Whoa, that's pretty awesome.
I'm super excited for that, Emma. Well, I need to make sure that I give you room because, like, I want to be at your live to watch you carve a spoon. And your husband does amazing work. If you guys have not been over to Sunny's place, Emma and her husband have a great channel over there, and you will enjoy it. He does like metalworkings because he had a knife on Facebook that you were sharing today, and it was like darn good work, real good work.
So Braxton Robbins, hello. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm sorry last week we were really busy getting ready for. I'm thinking kidding in less than 4 weeks. We know how that's going.
Yeah.
We're getting ready. We still got it.
We still have a little bit. We're not kidding until April or May.
We did get a taste of kidding though, because my sister had her little one, and
that's always fun.
Yeah, he was a little buck.
Kidding is just like the best way to like lose your mind a little bit
and be super stressed. All black with a little white spot on his head. So my daughter's already been over there a couple times. So. Hey, Mama
Burton, how are you?
Good to see you.
You said, send it twice. Evelyn wants it too, Sonny.
Like everybody wanted it. You made it sound good, Emma.
Yeah, so. It did. It sounds like my dish.
Emma asked, did you see the knife?
Yes, so cool. I did. It was super awesome. I have to show you because I'm friends with it. Me and Emma from Sunny's Place are Facebook friends, which is nice because then I get to interact with her outside of like YouTube or the YouTube groups on Facebook.
Swarmstead's dragging their seed winner in the house.
Did you guys see
That's awesome. Congrats.
What?
They had a couple drawings, right? I watched a couple. So Ashley really wanted to win emu eggs.
Yeah. Well, they were not going to give us emu eggs, but they had Norman eggs, and I have an incubator that I just bought. So I was like, this would be perfect. But our chickens did start laying again, which it's been weird because like I got 1 egg, and then 3 days later I got 7 eggs, and then today I got 1 egg again. So like they're just starting to kickstart into it, which is fantastic. So I'll be breeding salmon fabric.
Old Riding Pump said, Swarmstead, we will send you a blue ray.
It sounds like he deserves it.
Pat on the back. There you go.
Yeah, guys, if you are not familiar with like any of the channels that are in here right now, they're all fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They're all fantastic. And Swarmstead, I'm going to be probably binging on your channel here shortly because I really want to catch more swarms this year. And I like listening to your lives because you are a treatment-free beekeeper, and I think that is super awesome. But beekeeping is done in a million different ways. So if anybody in here is a beekeeper and you don't agree with it, that's cool. Let's keep it out of the chat. But like, I find it really refreshing that there's so many ways to do one thing.
Oh, hey, Crazy Life Homestead.
Yeah, how are you doing?
North Nashville, Tennessee.
What are you guys up to this week? Then we've got our chickens are starting to lay again. I'm so excited. I know, Emma, isn't it just like the best thing when they start to lay again? It's like getting the best surprise.
Just recently.
Yeah, I'm like, no more freeloaders.
Yeah.
I can send. Oh, Dasha. I'll just wait until you're like neighbors. And then we can swap eggs. Like I'll give you salmon Favril and Fabricana eggs or Easter egg eggs and we can switch.
Maybe on Muscovy eggs.
Yes, Muscovy eggs. I don't know. I want them to hatch all the Muscovy eggs.
Yeah.
I want to hatch all. Okay, so like I have fallen in love with Muscovies. I don't know why it took me so long to take the plunge on ducks. But then they're like the most unduck of the ducks. So maybe that's why I like them.
Mm-hmm.
But they're pretty awesome.
Pretty cool.
You are very welcome, Swarmstead. Anytime.
Yep.
Anytime. Hi there, Jeremiah Mong. How are you? So what does everybody have going on this week? Give me one good thing, or it's opposite on my screen, guys. So I'm like trying to do it over here. Give me one good thing that you guys are looking forward to or that has already happened in this week. Because I'm not working this week, so all kinds of good things are happening because I'm not at work. Poor Mark, poor positive over here has to work.
I did have 2 days off earlier.
Yeah, he
scheduled,
did.
So it wasn't even related to me being sick. So, hey, Jenny, how are you? Let's see. Old Reading Farm said I would 100% do a chicken egg swap.
We should all do a collaboration.
There you go.
We should all do a collaboration.
Have like a chicken flea market.
Oh my gosh, we need to get together after this, Kat. I'm guessing that's Kat because I don't think John does like the lives. Kat's the YouTube content like taker inner.
Yeah. Crazy Life Homestead. Well, here getting all my supplies ready for my cattle panel. Pallet greenhouse ready for build. Oh, that's awesome.
That's so cool. I keep seeing like the cattle panels being used.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like Stivers Homestead did like one about a month ago. And he made it look so easy. Like I'm almost sold on that, but I don't know. I'm not going to get my greenhouse in time to do anything with it really this year. I'm hoping to get it done like in the summertime so I can prolong my growing season in the opposite direction, not start it early. So yeah. Hello, Haas. You made it. Emma wants Silkies. They're so cool.
Ashley likes Silkies.
Yes, I've had them once, but they didn't seem like they were very hardy birds. But then again, like I was a new chickenish keeper, so like maybe it was me. I don't know.
Yeah, and we got a new incubator.
Yeah, it's in my bedroom. Yep. Keeping it close.
Got protected.
Yeah, I do.
Jenny said, "I have some chicken eggs." That's awesome.
You do.
Jenny.
What kind of chickens do you have?
And are you going to eat those, or are you hatching them?
And are they for fair? Because I know Jenny is a 4-H'er.
Yep.
Yes, it's always on that. Thank you. Yes, message me on IG because like I am so poor at IG. It's stupid. So like if you could get me more involved on that platform, that'd be great. I just don't get Instagram. Like I just don't get it. I just trip through it.
Yep.
I try to put pretty pictures on there. Do hashtags.
Tasha said, "I'm hoping to get our new goat pasture put up because they will be having their babies so soon."
Yay!
So
when are they due? So like, do you got like? How long do you have? Because I'm like counting down. I really won't start counting down until after we do our blood paneling this weekend. So we're doing blood panels on our goats, which means we're going to draw blood and send it to a lab for them to do the check on the big 3. So the big 3 for any goat keeper out there is Johne's disease, CL, and CAE. And then I'll also put in pregnancy checks on top of all of that. So I'm going to have to send them a pretty good vial of blood for each one. Which if you know how to draw blood, it's really not tough. But like you do have some that are just like, you need to bleed more for me, okay?
Yep. So our wood chip garden, Morgan said, "I got another wood chips for my birthday. Best birthday ever." It goes along with your name, so it's perfect.
Now, Tasha has a video on, what was that? Is that chip drop that you're on, Tasha, that you guys did? I'm signed up for it, but I don't. I'm assuming I will never get anything from it, especially in this area. They might surprise me. We get free wood chips. Did you know I signed up for that?
Yeah,
I told you. Good. I finally.
Just in case a dump truck pops up.
It has to stop raining. Oh my goodness. So what our snow is your rain right now. Ugh.
And Jenny said, "I can't wait for some time this week or next weekend. We are borrowing a donkey."
What are you borrowing a donkey for? That's
like
awesome. We do. We're big. We really like our donkeys.
Oh, Crazy Life said, "Prices for metal is going up, so get your cattle panels."
Really? Man, first lumber and now the cattle, but that kind of makes sense.
We were thinking about doing some fencing this year.
Yeah, we were gonna start on our rotational grazing, so we had plans for that, but I just need the prices to kind of like chill. That or I need to buy into GameStop and it needs to go up sky high again. I don't think that's it's not going to happen.
Let's say it's going rough right now. The Tinker's wife said, "Working on getting my containers ready to garden.
Yay!
And so I can move the garden with me this year. Going to need a large truck."
Yeah. Now, I like container gardening.
Mm-hmm.
And I really admire people that make it work. I am really bad about watering containers. So so Patty, do you ever do like the water bottles that I see like on Pinterest and everything where they put them like down in the actual container and you just dump water in and it kind of slow feeds through the water bottle that you punch holes in? because I could probably roll with that, but like I'm terrible about watering things in containers. That's why we use a waterer for like our seed starts.
Old Reading Farm was asking, what kind of incubator did you get?
It is the Nurture 360. It's like the new version.
The dog's over there trying to
Jingo. June. Our kid's name is Josie. The dogs are June and Jingo, so there's a lot of...
Ashley always gets them mixed up.
I'll yell at Joe and be like, hey, June.
Hey, Cody. Good to have you tonight.
Hey, better late than never. That's okay.
Yep.
We're just happy you're here. We're happy to have people here.
Jenny said, yes, we have some that we eat and some to hatch.
That's awesome.
That's always fun to hatch.
That's super awesome.
So.
Oh, Jeremiah, you've never been in a live chat? Well, thank you for being in our live chat. It's super fun.
And Haas said, I totally understand that about IG. It's beyond me.
I tried TikTok for like a week, and then I was like, I'm done with this. I can't do it.
Didn't work well for us.
I get really overwhelmed because like we're on Facebook and we're on the YouTube channel.
Different things to maintain.
I just opened a Twitter account. I'm like, I don't know how to work this either, so I don't know. I don't want to spread myself too thin. I think I want to build like a following on one, even though I know like it's not really realistic to try to get them to hop from one platform to the other. You're probably just better building individual communities on each one, letting them know that your communities elsewhere exist.
Yep.
That's super fun.
Emma said, oh, I should send you a pic of the Bob Ross painting my kiddo just
Please do, Emma.
We're Bob Ross fans. So.
We love Bob Ross.
Yep. Crazy Life Homestead said not a fan of Instagram as well. Looks like we got people up.
I really try. But then, like, I look around at other people's Instagrams, and I know, like, comparison is the thief of joy, and you should never compare yourself to somebody else, but I do that sometimes, and it is not good for me, because then I'm like, screw it, there's already so many people that are so much better at this, like, I'll just focus on YouTube.
I always find it hard to find the content I want to look at.
Yeah,
too.
But, okay, so there's, like, Kat, you're really good at Instagram, so, like, how does Instagram figure out like what to put in front of you? Because like I'm with Mark, sometimes the stuff it puts in front of me, I'm like, I don't care. Mm-hmm. Like I legitimately don't care about this, and I'm wondering like what algorithm is it picking me up in?
Yeah.
Is it based off of like the hashtags that you use in your posts or what? For Donkey Stuff Swarmstead, yeah. You're a smart one.
Chip drop. You know what chip drop is? I see that in here.
Yes, chip drop.
Chip drop never panned out for us, but we just posted in our town's Facebook group. We went, that's when they deliver the chips. Okay. Yeah. We want some. We had some a day later. Wow, that was a quick turn.
That's not bad though, especially if you've got someone nearby that's like just taking down a whole bunch of lumber to break our cows. I had heard that donkeys could be used to do that.
Yeah,
that makes
you'll
sense.
have to let us know how that goes.
Yeah. And Josie misses you. Josie is so sick of us. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I haven't shared your comment with her yet, Jenny, because I'm like, I'm going to put this in my back pocket to use for blackmail. Yeah. But, yeah, she's done being in the house.
And Haas has an even better idea with donkeys. He said, I'm trying to convince Hannah to get a mini donkey and keep it inside.
I've seen many people that keep their mini donkeys inside.
We've been watching Dr. Pole lately, and we've seen so many of them. They haul them, like, right in the back of their truck. Like, it's just like.
Especially, like, when they're young, they're super small and manageable. But did you know you can load a llama into, like, a minivan? It's super awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I miss llamas, but I like my donkeys better.
Let's see what this one said about more chip drops. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I've gotten it twice, but last guy dropped huge logs because it's chip. Oh, that's not cool.
Yeah, I saw that video because I was like, I feel like that's like a bait and switch.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. I'm asking for chips, not logs. Yeah. That would cause a mess.
I don't think I'd be cool with that.
No, unless you wanted firewood, I guess. But Patty said, I don't like watering them, and no, I don't do the soaking water bottles. Okay.
So are you good at container gardening? What's a good trick? Because like I don't ever plan to like leave my property anytime soon, but I'm sure that there's at some point like living circumstances change, and
you never know.
It'd be nice to have that knowledge on hand and have someone else's experience help me out.
If somebody offered us like 100 acres, you'd think, we might want to go jump in. Even though all this time we put into this place, still be worth it for more land.
It would.
So maybe crazy. So I have the whole older version of the 360, and it's good, but runs a degree below what it reads.
Yeah, that's what I had read about those. I'm hoping that the newer one doesn't do that, because like this is my first incubating anything.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to screw up that much.
How critical is the degree below? probably pretty critical.
Probably pretty critical, especially for like at specific points in their development. So is the heat more important than the humidity, or are they like equally important? I know about lockdown. I've been trying to read.
Penny said also, I'm considering doing a wicking method of watering the containers.
I have done a video on that, Miss Patty. When we first started our seeds last year, I used old water bottles and I cut them in half and like flipped it upside down and into itself, and we used our twine from our barn as the wick, and we just put our own compost in there and started our seeds. It worked great. It worked really, really good. That was about the only way I can get seedlings to survive, because if it's going to depend on me, it's going to die. It's going to die.
Yeah, Cody.
Thank you, Cody. Yeah. That's so nice of you. I never remember to ask people. Yeah, give us a like. It always helps us out.
Patty said, oh, you too. I had TikTok for 5 minutes. Just have to watch a couple videos. Right? Yeah.
It's like, well, then some of the content that comes up on TikTok, I'm like, people like this? I don't want to do this.
Oldering Farm said, maybe crazy. It's so weird. I don't know. We asked the tree guy who dropped them if he ever used chip drop, and he hadn't even heard of it.
Because they have to like volunteer to be on that. Well, then there you go, Kat. Like, spread the word to them. Like, hey, you guys can get rid of these. Because don't they have to pay like a recycling fee to take their chips to like a recycling plant, or like the dump, or wherever they take it?
Indiana Backyard Gardener said they've had 2.
You've had 2 drops from Chip Drop?
That's pretty awesome.
I'm hoping like in the springtime it'll pick up and I'll get some, because I would really like to have free. Like, I want to do stuff around our chicken coop. I want to redo the walkways in our raised garden beds. I have a lot of use for chips, so I'm like, give them to me.
Jenny said, how can she be tired of you guys? You guys are the best. We are her parents.
Yeah, it's probably a little different with you guys interacting with us for like an hour once a week. She lives with us, and
Tasha said,
we get a little annoying.
I love Dr. Pole.
I know.
Yep. It's what we crack up though is his son's totally different.
Yeah, I don't like Charles.
Like Dr. Pole, get in there and just get dirty, wrangle a gnarly bull, but then his son
Charles
will just
is
be
like
he gets aside and
he's like, that thing was crazy.
The demeanor is too just so different.
But we love Dr. Pole.
Mm-hmm.
I like trying to guess what he's going to
diagnose with and figure out the remedy. Yeah. So.
Hello, Fleetwood Patch. How are you this evening? Glad to see you in here.
Yeah. Oh, Indiana Backyard said they usually ask if you want the logs too.
They ask like online. I don't want the logs because I'm afraid like I'll get like what happened to Tasha, where it's like if they were longer logs, I could probably roll with that and like make raised garden beds out of it. I'd be cool with that, but I'm afraid they'll give me like the ones that are like just not. I'm struggling with my placement.
You're like moving around. But where we're having them dump it too, like if they dumped a bunch of logs, if we didn't move out of the way, it would restrict a lot of our.
Well, and like that's kind of like where our duck pen is going to go, and I didn't know that when I signed up for Chip Drops. I'm like, do not knock down any of my electric fencing and let all my Muscovy ducks out. So
we don't want logs.
I'm sorry if it's a fuzzy picture. We're in the country and our internet is like.
Indeed, at times.
Yeah, trust me, you don't want this to be in high def.
Tasha said, I don't have a fireplace, so just stacking the logs. The big ones to get. Oh,
yeah, I'm sure the goats love it. Ours love anything that. Mine have gotten really bad about jumping on me, and I'm like always like telling them to get. I'm like patting them on the nose and with a spray bottle, and like when the dogs jump on you, like when you're young, I'd always just lift a knee, and that would like bump their chests, and they would stop. But the goats are just like, hey, you've got food, and we're gonna molest you until you drop it. So.
Mm-hmm. Patty said, I'm good at hand watering after years working in horticulture. But do not like being married to a host. That's my comment earlier about someone setting up a system of water wicking.
Yes. I always feel like I water at the wrong point in the day. Some people are like, water in the morning. Some people are like, it's bad to water in the morning. So I water whenever I feel like it.
Mm-hmm. Indiana Backyard Gardener says they have the watering spikes.
Ooh.
That's not a bad idea.
I've not used those. Do you have good turnouts with those? Can you go back up for a second?
Yeah. Which one?
Jeremiah, we do live chats every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and there's going to be a special live on Friday. Yep. Like during the day at some point, because I'm going to paint and just like let you guys watch me paint and kind of like chit chat with whoever wants to be there, because I've got nothing better to do in quarantine.
Yeah. Tasha said, okay, my suggestion is to get a small thermometer, hydrometer, order it on Amazon. They're cheap.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to do that because like my chickens are starting to lay, so like I'm probably gonna put all my salmon fabrils in one pen, and I've not had one salmon fabril go broody. They're kind of dumb. But I really like the way that they look, even though they give a small egg.
Mm-hmm.
That's my vanity chicken. I just like how they look.
Oh, Indian Backyard Gardener said
they connect to water bottles? Okay.
Is that the watering spikes? That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Let's see. Rex and Robin said they are equally needed. It needs to be 50% humidity and 99.4 on its temp.
See, like, I have to be careful because, like, I'm not a precision person. In some things, I am precision driven.
Low humidity.
But, like, that is not bad humidity at all. They'll be up here, like, when we have chaff while that's going on, like, I'll probably be like, look, guys, the incubator's going. But
Fleetwood Patch says, I've signed up with Chip Drop for over 2 years.
Don't tell me that. I just signed up.
Now, watch out. You said that. and then all of a sudden, you'll probably get like 3 in 1 week. Maybe
like,
that's a good thing.
Been in a drought. We need to make sure he gets his fill. That's so funny.
So, Tasha and Patty both said, yeah, it saves them money.
That's what I had thought that it cost them. So, like, they're more prone to want to use Chip Drop. That's what I'm hoping anyway, because I'm like, you guys can bring me all the chips you want. I don't even care if it's like some of the coarser chips. It'll work.
Jenny said, I suggest that you get broody hen and put the eggs under them, and then the last 2, maybe 1 week before the due date, put them in the incubator. Yep.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping, just to get more. I don't know, like, before this year, I haven't really looked at my chickens as like sustainability, and I don't know why. But like with everything getting crazy, I'm like, this is the easiest thing that could be sustainable, because like I had 3 or 4 hens going broody at the same time last year, and like I kicked 2 out because I'm like, no, that's too many. And this year I'm like, you can all hatch whatever you want, because if the world goes to wherever it's going to go and the barter system comes back, I'm going to be one rich chicken lady trading for goods and services.
Yep, for sure.
I hate to go down that rabbit hole, but just you almost can't ignore it, especially when you're on the homestead and self-sustainability side of things, where you're just like, okay, like I will, if anything crazy happens, like I will get through this.
Yeah, backyard, I don't have a use for logs, so yeah, we've got a bunch of down trees and logs anyways.
And like we have a lot of locust, and those things like never rot. That's like an extremely hard wood here in Indiana, and I mean, if we cut those things down, they won't rot. Unless
you follow Drop's family garden idea, build a bigger coop with the logs. There you go.
I like the way you think.
Yep.
I like the way you think.
Crafty
we can get crafty. We can get crafty. We could just make a sawmill.
I still want to build an outhouse. I never don't like that.
What? Okay. Does anybody else have an infatuation with outhouses like this guy?
If the grate goes down, you got to still poop.
Just dig a hole.
Tasha, do they just you lose your info? You think?
Maybe they did for Miss.
I saw somebody. I think Tasha mentioned maybe just like trying to cancel and redo the order to see if
I see.
It might be worth a shot. Fleetwood Patch. You never know.
They have to renew it. Hey, MB Heritage Farms, how are you this evening? Good to see you in here.
Yep.
What do you guys got going on this weekend? Hey, Chad, good to see you.
Hello.
Thanks for checking out our Muscovy duck video today. I do hope it helps you clip wings. Oh, the dogs are under my feet, and I'm stretching, and it doesn't like it.
Stomping on the dog. So Tasha said, yes, you have to keep an eye on humidity, but the temperature is 99.7. So
I have those trees.
I have those tree IV I used for my new fruit trees to water with a Milnor water system with 4 programmable outlets. Worked great. Didn't have to fill the 5-gallon buckets myself.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that sounds
that's
really
super nice, because we were talking about starting like a fruit tree orchard.
Mm-hmm. But ours is pretty far in the back.
Well, I want some over here when we do the pigs. When we have the pigs.
We're going to be like clustered over there.
No, just like spread them apart. Or give them shade from like both. We're gonna have them over there.
I'm sure we will. Until the pigs
until the pigs get out and eat the saplings.
Yep.
Hey, Classic OC, how are you? I know, it is going to be so cold. We were just talking that we were doing a lot of things out in the barn this weekend, and because of that, like I moved it up, because I'm like, I'm not going to wrestle with animals. And it doesn't help that we're going to be pulling blood, so there's going to be a lot of needle jabbing. And if I can't feel my hands, I won't be able to do the job. So I'm going to try to move it up to earlier on Saturday.
And draw my blood instead.
Wouldn't want that, would we?
Indiana Backyard Gardener says our county does composting, so they take the chips if we don't.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
That's good. I get free compost.
I get free compost.
I know. Cat's in this thing where I'm like, what? How?
Yeah. How do you get free
I'm just out there like raking poop all the time to get my compost.
You make your chickens compost a bit though.
I do make my chickens compost a lot right now.
Scratch it.
Yes.
Yep.
And you guys, if anybody's been checking out the videos, like when we first started with, so I put all of my manure in like a big pile, and I actually let it weather for like a year, even though like goats are a cool compost animal and I can put it directly in. It just gets so rich and black if I let it sit for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So like I took the tractor and I took a lot of loads of manure over to our in-ground garden that we till every year, and I just dump my chickens' feed over that. They've scratched it almost where there's like only a couple noticeable clumps. Everything else has been pretty evenly dispersed. They've done a great job. Permaculture, I understand why Justin Rhodes gets like super giddy when his animals do work for him, because I'm like, this actually works. And I didn't have to spread it.
And during the work days, I let them out pretty often, and I usually have like leftovers sometimes to feed them. So now I just go down to the garden and I'll kick at the piles, and then they go crazy.
Yeah, they think you put something out there. It's just like we're fooling them with no reward. I mean, at least they can't form a union or anything.
Look at Tasha bragging here about I'm getting a dozen eggs a day. That is awesome.
You and your warmer weather killing me.
That's a lot of eggs a day. So
I'll be propagating plants like a mad woman for bartering. That will be a great thing to barter with. Dude, when everything went crazy back like last March, people asked me for goats and milk. They're like, I can just keep this like in my shed, right? Like, no. And you probably shouldn't have it by yourself. Well, I can just milk it whenever, right? Like, no, it has to be milked every single day, or you'll like ruin the udder, mastitis, no milk, sick goat, death, all of the above.
Yep.
It was crazy.
Jenny asked, where's Josie tonight? Hiding.
She's hiding in her room. Yeah. I'm telling you, she's sick of us.
She doesn't like
I sing to her a lot
she's a little camera shy.
During the day, like in opera format, and she very much dislikes that.
And I like it. No,
you.
I put my headphones in for
I've noticed that while I'm home, he puts in his headphones a lot. I'm like, I'll go to the other room.
Yeah, backyard gardener, dig a hole.
Dig a hole. Well, yeah, that's how they used to just dig a hole.
Yep.
We got plenty of trowels.
Crops Family Garden said, does Melnor water programmable systems with 4 outlets? You can use it to water your garden, not that expensive.
Huh. We have to look into that.
Yeah.
Because things that do a whole lot of work for me that are not that hard on my wallet, I'm a fan of those.
I wonder, do those work good with greenhouses too?
Yes.
We thought about. Yes. Interesting to see. Because we've got where we want to put the greenhouse. It's actually pretty close to the house, so we'd have electric and water.
I tried, and I would have liked my greenhouse to be a little, but we needed it more south facing. We needed to get more sunlight on it. So
who was it talking about the?
It was David Outdoors. I was hoping that he'd be in here because he heats his greenhouse with compost.
Yeah.
And he's got a video out on his page, or his YouTube channel. So if you guys are interested in like heating your own greenhouse with compost, he's got a really good, easy to follow video out on it, and he's pretty awesome.
I was laughing at this one. Haas said, Mark peeing outside is a guy thing, though. He's just don't understand.
He pees outside he will go to the back deck. Tell me to calm down. But he'll like go to the back deck and like pee off the deck. I'm like, the bathroom is literally 10 steps in the opposite direction.
I'm already headed that
You're
direction.
You're killing my flowers.
I hope pee on the flowers. So
we've had random strangers pee in our goat farm before.
Yeah.
And didn't even buy a goat. They drove like 4 hours to come look at goats.
That's why I pee outside to mark my area.
But he was out there. He's like, do you mind if I use the bathroom? I'm like, you can go inside if you need it to go. And he's like, I'll just go over to this stall. Yeah. Like we were all in the same area. I like had to turn my back. And I'm like, surely he will buy a goat now that he's urinated in my barn. Yeah. No, did it. Yeah. It's crazy.
Reminds me when we had the barn built. Remember the workers? Yeah. Oh my God, it's super detailed. Yeah. Let's just say they would disappear in our backfield and with buckets. During the workday. Yeah.
I was like, all right, I guess you're just fertilizing.
Yeah, backyard gardener says our county makes it all what the drops they get. As long as you don't go shovel it yourself, it's free.
Well, see, I think that's a good payoff though, because then they don't have to have labor to like load it off, which is nice.
Patty said, need 2 goats and milk daily. You need more than 2 goats. If you ask Ashley.
Yeah. It's goat math, like chicken math, you know?
So I can't believe people asked for a goat to keep it in the shed.
It was insanity.
Yeah.
It wasn't like when it all happened, I took off my address off of my Facebook page because then I realized like what time and age we're living into. I'm like, that's really not safe to have that out there. Because like people were asking some pretty like outrageous, like, hey, like, can I buy your chickens? I'm like, well, they're not for sale. Well, I'll pay no, they're not for sale. Like these are my chickens.
There's the Amazon item for the water
Ooh,
dripper. Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
Drops Family Garden.
Yeah,
I
we'll have to
appreciate
check that out.
that.
We have Prime, so
Yes,
it's 2-day shipping if you decide.
Yeah.
Hidden Spring Farm said, "Yep, your video helped. I'm leaning towards the clipping the wings of my
Khaki Campbells,
so I can free range them in my mini orchard and have access to
Yes.
That's awesome.
Now, I don't know why, but like Muscovy males are not supposed to be as prolific of flyers as the females, but it's only the males that are getting out. So I just couldn't have it. And no joke, it was 20 minutes of trying to wrangle the black and white drake, which is Sir Quackers, because he's very regal and classy. And he ran like the Dickens. Like, he flew up on my fence. I'm like, if he gets out of the goat fence, like, this is going to be tough. I'm not going to be able to get him back in. So I had to get like a branch and like give him a pat, like way far away, and try to get him to go back into the goat field. It was crazy.
Oh, you need a backyard gardeners also.
You use compost to heat yours too.
Yeah.
See,
Awesome.
I read about all this, and I'm like, it can't make that much heat. But then I guess it's a lot like the deep litter method, like for chicken coops, like in the winter, because like that does generate a lot of heat. So I don't know why I didn't think it would work in a greenhouse.
Tell Josie I'm making a pain for her. Yeah, we'll let her know.
Oh, that's
She'll
sweet,
love that.
Jenny.
Yeah, she likes artwork. She likes to draw herself. So
okay. That's a good excuse. If he told me that every time, I'd be like, sure, go.
Cody said, "What's the point of living in the country?" Yeah, see, exactly. It's
I guess maybe it's just jealousy, because I can't just like stand in an area and kind of act like I'm looking at the scenery and like just pee. I can't do that. So I guess it's jealousy.
All Indian backyard gardener clarified. He said heating the greenhouse, not the compost.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, we have a house down the road from us that has a greenhouse, and it looks like they also have like solar power. They
have a solar panel
with a water system. So
yeah.
We're like, man, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh, some people, I swear. I'll tell you what, Tasha. We've had goat people are the most interesting people that you will ever run into.
Mm-hmm.
They are one of a kind.
Just want to say, I got to pee on everything, make up for you to live in the city.
Yeah, I never thought about that though. Yeah. Well, yeah, if you do it in the city, it's kind of like not good if the police officer sees you.
Renting chickens and goats are an actual thing. City people are weird. Hey, if you can make money off of it, I'm sure someone will do it. So
I would let people come out and milk my goats. Like when we saw the documentary, The Biggest Little Farm, I think it was, and they had all those volunteers. I'm like, only in like this area would these people like volunteer to come out and put themselves through like all of this, because out here like it's just our lifestyle, I guess. Because I'm like, you couldn't, like, I wouldn't volunteer on someone else's farm just because like that's my general lifestyle. But if anybody wants to volunteer to come milk goats for me here like May-ish and June, get with me, direct message me.
Patty said that's like customers that came in and told me they had no time to take care of a garden, but one-on-one I looked at them and said pour concrete. Patty, I like that. Perfect response.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That, or like when people are like, I really want this high-end dairy goat, but like there's just none out there like for the price range. They're all way too expensive. And I'm like, then you need to like adjust your expectation or like the quality of what you're looking for, because it's just going to be a big disappointment. You're not going to find what you want at that price point.
Cody said someone local to me had all their chickens stolen. Almost 100.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Like seriously, like back like in March through like June, we saw that in our area like crazy too, where people be like, chickens are gone, and no blood, no feathers, no nothing, and everybody's like trail cams because it's probably two-leggeds that are getting in there, and not because that was just what was happening in our area. It was just so crazy.
Yep.
Josie's coming back on Monday.
Next week.
Yeah, Josie's coming back on Monday. I'm going back to work on Monday too.
Tasha said, people were stealing cows according to the news. That's why I want to live in the middle. Nowhere with no close neighbors.
It's crazy. Like it is crazy.
We had one crazy guy. It was like a couple of years ago. He was going around and actually harming animals with an axe or something.
Yeah,
crazy. Which is like really scary.
He was shooting people's horses with like point blank in the face with shotguns, like with like the bird shot too. So it wouldn't like kill them, but it would severely maim. And you did have the one, he was hacking livestock like while they were alive, like with axes. It was
real scary. It wasn't
so like
too
people would
here.
come out and their animals would be all hacked up and injured. It was awful.
Yeah. My mom's like, be careful, you got a bunch of animals. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do today.
I mean, I hope you can't run a bullet.
Like, if you're harming our animals, I think that's a threat. So.
Yeah.
So let's see.
No, you're not allowed to leave, Cody.
I was actually making me need to get out. So. India Backyard Gardener said, the water heating method is thermal mass. I tried something like that with bricks.
You guys are making me want to do a greenhouse so bad because, like, I want to know about all this stuff.
Well, we become rich. We can definitely jump on it right away.
When you have goats, you never lack this. Aren't This is true.
Yep, there's always something.
True.
We laugh at our own stories all the time about goats.
I know. And people that aren't goat people, sometimes like they're just like, how is that funny? Like, you just would have had to have been there.
Mm-hmm. Tasha makes a good point. I'd be worried about biosecurity, letting people on my farm.
You know,
yeah, that's a concern.
I was not very aware until I got into like Nigerian dwarfs, because boar people are just like, these are for butcher.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would I test them? Most of these are going to market, so what does it matter what they have? But now that I'm on the dairy side of things, where like a prolific life and productivity are what's focused on, rather than like getting them to a market weight as quickly as possible, it's a big concern. And I think this year, like for people that come to buy kids, I'm going to make them wear plastic booties.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, when I worked with the vet volunteer, like we washed our boots and we sanitized them between every single barn. And like when I was younger, I didn't understand that. Like I didn't get the concept of like a biohazard going from farm to farm to farm. But now, like, since I'm doing biosecurity panels on my own goats, like last year I wouldn't let anybody like in the pens. Like they could come into the feed room, but they were not allowed into my pens. And I physically picked up the goat and took it to their car. And that wasn't because of like COVID or anything. It was just like, unless they weren't goat people, like if they were completely new and like they were buying like 2 or 3 goats, like then I'd be a little bit more lenient, because they're like, we just put up a pen, like this is, you know, it was an old cornfield. I'm like, then the chances of you bringing something in bacteria wise on your shoes are slim to none. But
we a couple times when we visit other farms, we've taken off our boots and actually spray with bleaching water to.
Well, we went to an auction. When we took Joe's Weather to auction after 4-H, because we didn't have an auction because of COVID, we went to an auction barn, and I was like, nobody goes to the barn. That the truck doesn't go near the barn until I get bleach, and I bleach everything, because I was really afraid of what we would bring back. Yeah.
Hattie said people have romantic ideas about what takes to care of animals and gardens. That was like that video you were just talking about.
Yeah, the biggest little farm, when they were just like letting coyotes like rampage and killing their chickens, and they're like, well, we want them to coexist. And I'm like, I understand that, but like when that is your life, like that is your livelihood, that is the difference between like dinner on the table or no dinner on the table. You're not going to be like, well, I want to coexist with a coyote. It's going to be like, see a coyote because it's survival of the fittest. Where I'm like, this is very romanticized. Like they're not seeing like all of the parts that they should be seeing. Like I don't remember who it was that came in to help like design the farm and set it up and got all like this composting system and all these hydration systems. I'm like, this is, and while this is like best case scenario, where like humanity comes and like takes over this land that's not used for anything, that's been completely depleted, and has built it into like a sort of an oasis. Like it does not happen like this. In farming and self-sufficiency can be a very thankless task. Like while you're in it, it doesn't feel very, there are just times where you're just like, God, why do I do this to myself? But there are other days where it's super rewarding. I wish people understood like there's good and there's bad, and sometimes the bad's what you think of first when you've really lived through it. You scamming through.
There's a bunch about stories about people aren't animals, and I just never get terrible. That. So.
I don't get that.
Oh, Haas said they found EEE near us. What's EEE? What's that?
Is that in your deer? Is that what you're talking about?
Now everyone is super strict with biosecurity and teach them what the preemptive means. Yeah. I'm trying to think what EEE is.
I know EWD is like weight, or CWD here is like chronic wasting disease. But I thought EEE is very similar to that.
Because I just got a deer hunting
survey. Or like somebody was calling it blue tongue. Like in our area, like, oh, we've got a case of blue tongue, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's chronic wasting disease.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things like that, Pat. Or is that with the rabbits? Because there's another one going on with rabbits. It's like depleting the rabbit deposit. Oh, he's talking about that.
Yeah, I don't let anyone interested in my rabbits near them. RHVD is spreading across the country. Extremely lethal. I meet buyers.
I'm glad that because I mean, we're not anywhere near like wanting to have as many rabbits as I would like, but it's nice to know all this. Yeah, coyotes will go to crossbow camp in a heartbeat. I'm with you there, Drops family. I invest in my animals. That's a lot of time. And like if say crap does hit the fan, that's my survival out there. Like, really, that's what is going to make my kid go to bed without an empty stomach. So I can't.
Let's get Tasha over here. Tasha said, yep, I'm even paranoid with my chickens. I try to meet people when I sell them a bird, but if they come here, they don't get to walk past my driveway.
Yeah.
It's better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I mean, and like last year we did have like one group of people, they wanted to go all over my property, and like I kept them to like one sliver away, and they were like, I'm like, well, let's not. And I didn't want to be like, because like you raise chickens, I do not know what is on your boots. I don't know what, because some people just don't get it. And especially here, like, I want to say like people that have been in that specific realm, like with goats or things like that, where they've had to witness or like take a biosecurity panel. It's like, I have yonis in my herd. What do I do now? Like Homesteady had yonis come up in a cow. We had a scare with yonis
like borderline, last year. So we hadn't tested again, and it came back clear. But man, we called
URBL, and I was like, what do I do? I'm like, this is because.
And she had
for anybody that does not agree with what I'm about to say, I am really, really sorry. But anything that ever comes up with a biosecurity panel that is showing anything positive for CL, CAE, or yonis, it is a hard pull. It does not stay here. We quarantined that doe. The moment that those results came in as like borderline, I called him like, did you just deworm her? Yes. Like 3 or 4 days before I took blood, they're like, that may be why. Give it 2 weeks, quarantine her, and re-pulled blood. And we did, and she came back completely negative.
Scared too, because our daughter takes the goats to the fair, and we wouldn't be able to work around that.
But like, even if you do 4-H, like technically you cannot say that you are a closed herd because your animals have come into close contact with other animals, and it can easily be distributed between like even fair pens. So it's a fine line you have to walk.
Yep. Ooh, Isaac said we got the supports for our hayloft in the barn to them today. Congrats, we're getting ready to do some hayloft
we're going to do some
work, I think.
Have fun. It's like my least favorite thing to do.
So,
the equine encephalitis. Okay. Super deadly to birds and can pass to humans through swine. My friend has an entire emu.
No. That's awful.
So this isn't what I was thinking. No, I've not heard of EEE. We don't have that up here then yet.
Yeah, that's what I say. He said it was spreading. So
it's kind of weird how all this stuff is like, and maybe because I was younger, I just didn't notice it. But it's just a lot of that stuff is kind of scary. Get them to the disposable booties. It's on the order list already because I've had a scare last year, and she came from a closed herd. I saw her paperwork for the blood draw that previous year, so I'm like, what is going on? But yonis is one of those that can kind of like hide for years. They pick it up while they're young, and it only shows when they're going through high amounts of stress or their gut's shedding its lining enough for it to pick up. Like in a blood test, usually for yonis, you have to get like a fecal culture to 100%, but it takes like 6 weeks to culture. So it's like, but I guess if it's already in your herd, what's another 6 weeks to wait?
Tasha, you're not crazy. After our scare, we're definitely.
Oh my gosh! Like it was like a week. I was in tears. Like he's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "She came back borderline." He's like, "Well, it's okay. Like it's not." I'm like, "It might as well be a positive," because like it was. I was like, I'm gonna have to like. I didn't even know how to go about it because it lives in your soil for like 18 months or so. It's crazy.
Yep. Oh, Patty, that's what I was looking for. Infections through 4-H's have been very common.
They are.
We've
especially
seen some
like
goats
pneumonia with goats. That's the big thing.
I remember one year when I was in 4-H.
Yeah.
It was going around
and
the barn.
There's one lady that's on my Facebook page, and like I talk to her very often, and she was saying, she's like, man, I've had one goat, I've had to treat it 5 times this year for pneumonia, and it was because of shows. So it is problematic. Hey, Spanish Homestead.
Yeah, glad you came.
Were you one of the big winners over at Old Reading Farm?
Did you recognize the name?
Oh, came over. I need to read these comments before I say something.
They said they came over.
But did you win? I thought you won like just as I was hopping off to start our live. If so, like congrats. And did you pick seeds or eggs? Well, if you're in Spain, you probably pick seeds.
Well, it's just a Spanish one.
I think they're in Spain, if I remember correctly from the other one.
Jenny said, I am excited to look at my goats for 4-H in 3 weeks in county this week.
Yay!
Yeah, we did all the paperwork for Joe.
Yes.
So
she's going to do a market. So for goats, like obviously she's going to do dairy, but she's going to do a dairy wether and a market wether this year, and then we're going to eat one of them.
Yep. We keep saying that every year.
We keep saying it every year, but like with what happened with processors this last year with COVID getting backed up and people not being able to take their animals to butcher, I'm just gonna have to take the plunge and we're gonna have to do this. And everybody's been saying like goats, especially like at that age, are just so easy. They're a good starter animal for butchering. That's not a bird or poultry. Because I don't look forward to butchering our own chickens, but if it's gotta be done, it's gotta be done.
Tasha said, I think with the COVID thing, people panicked and bought sick animals.
They did.
And sell them, so now it's just
They did.
I know Ashley had an instance where someone was like upset with the price of our animal.
She was very, very upset.
We have paper,
she said, that is just way too high for what I'm like. And I'm like, and that's fine. I'm like, good luck. And, you know, if you're still looking for something later on, like, I'm not that far from you. And she ended up getting a goat, or 3 or 4 goats, and it had polio, and she didn't catch it, and it killed all 4 of them, like, within a week. And then she came to me, and she's like, do you still have that? I'm like,
no.
If you're going to buy a goat that's sick with polio, I don't. And as a seller, I have the right to refuse to sell my animals to someone, especially if they don't have goats or they're only wanting to buy one and they don't want to buy an additional. Like, you have that right to say, thanks for the offer, but no thanks. That's not me being snobbish. That's me protecting my livestock.
Yep. Oh, thanks for hopping on, Jenny.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Jenny. It's always so good to talk to you. Joe, we'll see you on Monday.
Yep. I said, to Patty, he had just signed a massive contract to the lone emu meat supplier in the southeast. Oh, that's awful.
That is so terrible.
He maybe had insurance.
I hope, yes, I was going to say, like, if he's maybe like on the corporate side of that, then maybe he had insurance.
That's still
I've started to think about carrying insurance because, like, we're starting to ramp up our quality in our Nigerian dwarfs. And the thought of bringing a $1,000 plus goat onto my farm to be coyote fodder at some point, and that's like nothing. We know a lady that down the road that does boars where she's got 25 grand in like one goat. So I can't justify that much in a goat.
Spanish Homestead said, yes, we did going to give it a try to get some seeds over here, trying to get something from the UK. It's hard enough at the moment, so we'll see what it's like from the UK.
Yeah. Well, I hope that those do really well for you. And Kat and John are just like, they're the bee's knees. I love their channel.
We always try to catch their lives. So, Drops Family Garden said, are they mostly buying the goats to raise or for food?
It's kind of like a combination. So, like, when we were raising boar goats, they're primarily a meat-producing breed. So I knew, like, they were either buying them for 4-H, which would eventually go to market, or they were buying them to butcher off. So, but now that we're Nigerian dwarfs, while we can still do dairy wethers that can be produced for meat, mostly it's for show or pet.
Hey, Sweet Pea,
how you doing, Michelle? I was watching you earlier. We were at McDonald's drive-thru when I was trying to listen to you because
I was like, hold on a second, I got to order.
I was like, turn it down.
Somebody, Sweet Pea Farm wants something on the menu. Tasha said, unfortunately, you get what you pay for. I got super lucky with my girls, but it doesn't usually happen like that.
Now, you are totally right, though. Like, sometimes you get what you pay for, but sometimes you get lucky. So, like, our Nigerian dwarf Pinky has taken, like, grand champion at our fair 2 years in a row. I paid, like, $150 for that goat. And she's, like, the sweetest thing. And she's actually got really good bloodlines. I just happened to find someone that bought them for 4-H and then got out of them quickly and wanted to just hurry up and cut their losses. And she's come back clean on all her biosecurity panels, and she's done really, really well for us. Is an easy kidder, produces lots of milk, and does well in the show.
Yeah, because when we switched breeds, we had boars, and then we quickly switched to Nigerian. So
I don't know why it took us so long to change to Nigerian dwarfs. I appreciate having them a lot more.
Well, it helped with our daughter. She's small, showing wise.
So like her first wether was like 100-pounder, but he was so sweet, like.
But if he wanted to, he could have probably drug her. As he did once,
Well, she was like pulling him because he wouldn't go, and like she pulled him hard enough where he like farted.
Yeah.
She's like, Mom, he's hitting the gas pedal.
She was so worried he was going to do that in the ring too.
But like, luckily, when goats get in the ring, most of the time they're scared, so they kind of they cling to you and they do what you want them to do. For the most part, I've seen some people get drugged in the show ring. Insurance isn't a bad idea. You're right, Patty. I probably really should, with the amount that we're starting to invest, get insurance on them.
Patty said, back in the 90s, it was super easy to buy seeds from just about any country. We were kids in a candy store. Sad now.
I know.
Yeah. Remember when they were doing remember the Amazon was or not Amazon. It was
Yeah,
just
the
random
mystery
seeds.
seeds coming from, and it
I
was
don't know
Amazon
if I
though,
heard
wasn't
much.
it?
I think it was like
It was,
looked like
and they were getting
Amazon.
like random seeds, and like
Yeah.
I know like our
My mom got
extension
'em.
office was asking like, hey,
Yeah.
send those because. And I know, Michelle, you touched on this earlier, like with your extension office. Ours is Purdue. So Purdue University runs our extension office in this part of, well, probably for Indiana altogether. And they were asking for us to, if you'd gotten those mystery seeds, to send them. Your mom got it twice, didn't she?
Maybe.
Or did my mom get them twice?
I
can't remember. One of them got them twice.
Yeah, they sent them in. So, oh wow, Sweet Pea Farm. Haas asked how much snow. Maybe 18 inches.
What?
Wow.
Do you have it either getting ready to kid or lamb? Because you know
They
they're going to
always
wait
will.
for the blizzard. Or are you
That's
guys on the
always
tail
true.
end of your lambing and kidding?
So Tasha said, I don't know if I could process my goats. Yes, I paid 150 each. Yeah, we had bought one. It was like a mixed breed. Decided that was how we were going to get into it. And he stayed on the farm for how long?
His name was Buddy, and he stayed for 8 years. He eventually did go for butchering, though.
Yeah, but not by us. But
no.
And
I never dewormed
that
goat.
Buddy too.
He was just like a companion. Never dewormed him. Almost never did his hooves, and he always had perfect hooves. Always had a high Comanche, and I'm like, you would. For all these other goats, I'm like, what is wrong with you?
So Cody said, almost always wanted that.
They do.
They're not as hardy, it seems, as I would have thought. Yeah.
But I feel like that's because of the purpose in which they're bred. I know there's a lot of people here that they buy a lot of Reciptos.
And their babies are so big when
their babies are so big. I have actually my mentor, she buys a lot of dairy Reciptos because she takes the embryo from her show doe and puts it in the Recipto to carry the baby so that there's no strain on her show does.
Yeah.
But in turn, they're breeding does that don't have mothering skills, nor do they have the ability to birth this big a baby because they're breeding for this enormous bone structure, this length, which they're beautiful goats. Don't get me wrong. I love a good weather bulldog looking Bordeaux more than anybody, but and it's hard to be competitive showing with them unless you're ready to drop some dollars. You almost have to be a market producer.
Yeah, we've had better luck with the Nigerians so far. So
yeah, and people like them better for pets. So
they're so small. They want to crawl on your lap,
they do.
which borders about break your legs.
Yeah, I still have one that she wants in my lap, and she's a good 200-pounder.
So Patty said, I never heard of anyone here in Portland getting those. I think those are seed packets.
Yeah.
We were just talking about.
Lucky?
So, yeah. I think you won them. I don't know what they were. I don't think we ever heard for sure. So.
Yeah. Yeah, Tasha, the boars are they're rough. They're rough. Now, Michelle, you have boars at Sweet Pea Farm. Have you ever had any issues with them being sickly? I mean, and for us, it was either we had hardy where nothing was going to kill it, or it would be really nice doe or a really nice buck where you're quit getting sick. Yeah. I don't know what else to do for you. I felt like I had a few that I was running fecals on them all the time. They just were not parasite resistant. Yeah. But I guess that's also something that you can influence in your breeding stock. I've started to take a little bit more weight in parasite resistance. And for those of you that have been asking about the herbal dewormer, I'm going to do a fecal count with my vet next week because it's been about 2.5 months, and I wanted to give 2.5 months of and I've been religious with it. I have not missed. Everybody has gotten what they needed to see where we're at. I can already tell you my Comanches just from the Land of Villa deworming them once a week with it, and they like it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
they actually like it. They don't spit it out. They like this mix versus the chemical dewormers I was using. So we're going to see if they work. Their Comanches have already improved, but Comanches are just an external indicator if they're okay, blood wise. Anemia is the #1 giveaway for a goat that has a heavy worm load. So that's what we're talking about with Comanches, looking at the underside of the eyelid to see so
we had the one that our buck.
We had a buck that but it was weird. He was fine, and then one day I went out and he had bottle jaw, and he was lethargic. And I'm like, you were fine yesterday. But he cleared up really, really fast.
Yeah.
But we were hitting him with red cell.
His Comanche score.
His Comanche score was scary.
Yeah, it showed right away.
And he went and I had just done deworming a month before, and he was good. And I went out there one day and he had bottle jaw and was anemic. To the point where I'm like, he will die if we don't do something for him.
Oh, looks like Patty hit it out. Thanks for stopping by, Patty.
Bye, Patty. Bye, Hans.
So Tasha said you still have to do your goat medicine cabinet.
Oh, you're right. I still need to do the nutritional video too, but it scares me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, people get super polarized over goat nutrition and what they think is the best for their goat. And it's like all things though, like what works best for you and your herd is what works best for you and her. But this is just how I do it. Because like I was actually talking with his sister because she has Nigerian dwarfs too. And she was like, man, the ammonia chloride, she's like, I didn't realize it, but it's a calcium sapper, like from your does. Which I was like, well, if you're feeding like alfalfa pellets or if you're feeding sunflower seeds with it, though, it regenerates like that calcium. And the reason we talk about that with our does is calcium is super important, like towards the end of the gestation, to prevent your doe from like going into milk fever or pregnancy toxemia, because those are both quick killers for goats that are at the end of their gestational period. And gestational period, for those of you not savvy with it, their pregnancies. They're pregnant for 150 days. 145 for the miniature breeds, give or take 5 in either direction.
Yeah, but they're a little bit different.
I know. I'm still on Sunny just yapping away about goats.
I need to know what I'm going to need for birthing goats. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can do that because we will.
Yeah, and one thing we were just talking about too, with the cold weather coming, we were going to buy some extra straw to settle the barn.
I got really lucky because like this year, I have like a little platform and they like to get on the platform to sleep. It gets them up off the ground, or they seem like they're not as cliquish as the boars, so they all get together in little huddles. And the fact that I've kept does with their daughters, like they make their own little family groups and they all snuggle up and sleep together. But with it getting the negatives, like I'm gonna have to get bedding. We've been really lucky with our winter so far. This is the first week where I've actually had to bucket water, and I'm not liking that at all. But I'm working on the gun show, so that's a good thing, I guess.
Jobs Family Garden said, you're already scaring me off on goats. If I get a bigger place where I can have them, oh well, if I do, I'll be bugging.
Yeah, we're here. Yeah. I had someone reach out to me from YouTube.
I mean, they're pretty hardy.
It can be, as long as you do your research, and trust me, you'll be looking at their poop a whole lot more than you'd like to, because literally, like, their poop is like the number one indicator. Poop and Fumantia is the number one indicator if anything's wrong with them. And a temp. And don't mix up your thermometer that you use in your goat barn for the one in your house, because you take a goat's temperature.
Yeah, when I tested positive, I was looking all over for thermometers, and guess
they're
where
all in the barn. He's like, I don't want to use those. I'm like, yeah, you don't. You don't want to use those thermometers. They're really not that bad. Like, really, they're not. Okay, Cody, have a good night.
Yep, thanks for stopping by. Emma said, I sent you a pic of our dinner. I will send you the recipe in a minute.
Yeah, don't get scared off, Drop Stanley. Like, we've been doing this for about 10 years with goats, so like we've seen a lot. But I wouldn't trade them, even for like some of like the worst situations, or like, I know like the biosecurity panel testing stuff, but there are people that live happily without biosecurity paneling their goats. And I've known people that are like, Yoni's is not a call for me. CL is not a call for me. Cool. That's cool. But like, for my purposes and for my target market, I have to do biosecurity panel testing, because breeders will not associate with other breeders that do not biosecurity panel test, especially in this area. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Drop Family Garden said, oh geez, mix up the thermometer, might as well kiss the goat, except kissing it on the back end.
Bottom.
Yeah. I was not ready for that.
Yeah, Lala Farms is and if you have not checked them out, Drops, Delsey's A Life of Heritage. She's got some fantastic, like, I just bought her goat binder off of her website because I liked the way that her record keeping system was set up. So I bought it, and I'm getting ready to start using it because I kind of made my own record keeping book that I will probably share in a video at some point. I just thought, for us, content wise, like, I went through about 2 weeks where I'm like, what am I going to film? What am I going to film? What am I going to film? To now where I'm like, I've got so much to film. Like, I don't know if I can film all of it. So, yeah. That's
Jobs Family Farms, I left that out for obvious reasons. And they said with COVID, you could lose sense of taste and smell. I didn't, so I would have.
That would have
been a real bad
hard no for
even
him.
with the without the taste and smell. I don't think I wanted to. So Tasha said, goats aren't hard. Everyone does things
Mhm.
different. Just research and ask questions. I like to be prepared for the worst. But I haven't had anything
Yes.
bad happen yet.
And that's the best way to be. And it's
Mhm.
especially true with like the medicine cabinet, because we were going over, it's on Facebook's Goat Tips and Tricks. And it was, someone was like, name off everything that you can remember in your medicine cabinet. And literally, like, mine was like, where someone was like, whoa, like, I don't have any of that stuff. I'm like, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I know it is better to have this stuff and not need it than to, because usually with a goat, when you need it, like, you really need it, and it's in the middle of the night in a snowstorm.
And one benefit she has too is because she worked with a local vet, and he's right down the road. We also can get
we can get to an emergency vet,
so
like that.
Knowing your vet locally really well can help a lot.
Making sure that your vet will treat goats. There are a lot of livestock vets that they will have nothing to do with, like goats and camelids. So like llamas and alpacas seem like they're the two outliers when it comes to livestock veterinarians.
Yeah.
But mine works really well with them, and I shadowed him as a teenager, and I'm really good friends with one of the vet techs that's there. So when I needed to draw blood and I wanted to learn how to draw blood, the dog is growling randomly down the hall. It scared me. That she just came out. I'm like, hey, Kate, I'm over here like poking my goats with the needle, trying to get blood out. And she's like, I will be over in a couple hours. Yeah. So I've been super fortunate to have mentors that were right down the road, were very giving with their time and their patience, because I'm either super enthusiastic, like fist pump with a needle and syringe full of blood in my hand because I was excited at people. Or like, I don't get it, and it takes patience. So they've been really good to me. I've been very fortunate. So don't be afraid to find a mentor that knows what they're doing. And if find my Facebook page, Mulberry Branch Farm. I had a lady on there today who was asking me questions about miniature donkeys and goats. I have no problem. I probably answer messages 2 to 3 times a week, goat related questions. And if I don't know them, I will be honest with you and say, I don't know, get with your vet, you know. You don't need to apologize to Quacks and 5 Clucks. I'm just glad that you're here. We're still droning on, so you're not late.
Drops Family Garden said, I used to raise show pigeons, so chickens weren't much of a stretch to start with animals.
I have always liked show pigeons because, like, when I see them, I'm like, that is a fancy looking bird. Like, really like them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So chickens wouldn't be.
Chickens wouldn't be a very far.
Honestly, goats aren't a hard animal to start with.
No, they're
just don't buy one by itself.
But you start with 2.
Yeah.
You start with 2, and usually, like most people, if they know you're a beginning goat keeper and that you're wanting to, I will cut a deal for someone who wants like a goat to like get 2 to go, because then it helps me too. It frees up my space in the barn, and I usually will volunteer myself too as a mentor. Or I'm like, if you have any questions, call me. Yes, 4-Hers. 100%. We discount for them because I want them to not have the stress of like having to fund their project. That's a good program.
We like to encourage for kids anyway. Get them outside in the barn. So. Yeah. So Spanish Homestead said, been nice hopping on 3 a.m. here, so going to get a couple more hours sleep before my baby goats start kicking off because they want more milk. Milk. No alarm clock needed here.
Oh, Spanish Homestead, thank you so much for being here, and do get some
luck
sleep.
With those baby goats
because
too.
We know when they wake up, they wake up.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, super nice. So how are you doing tonight, 2 Quacks and 5 Clucks? What do you got going on this weekend?
Apparently something with ducks and chickens, though, for their name.
Now, explain your name. I feel like you've explained this in a live, probably 2 Family Homesteads live at some point. I feel like you've explained your name.
Especially since we're new to that.
Yeah, and I haven't seen you in our chat too many times, so I'd love to learn new things about like the people that take their time and give it to me. I want to actually know some things about you because I'm weird like that. Got some editing. Oh, good Lord. Indiana, have fun. Have fun. I'm at the end of editing. I'm going to have to start filming tomorrow. I've gotten everything edited and ready till Monday.
In good shape.
That will not happen when I go back to work. So I'm trying to like give myself some buffering room.
Yep, definitely.
But yeah, so with our weekend, like we're going to be, drawing blood. So you guys are, okay, so this is probably a good question. So I like to do evergreen how-to videos, but I feel like I get a little vlogger-ish in them, and it takes away from the how-to. So for those of you, I figure out how I'm going to ask this question. So I'm going to be filming us drawing blood, but I want it to kind of be a how-to and not get into a vlog. So would it be overkill if like I did a how-to draw blood from a goat video and then did it like, again, not as in-depth, but like with a vloggerish kind of side? Or would that be overkill? Tasha, I know you're in here and you're one that you're pretty religious on watching our stuff, but I don't want to overwhelm the community that I have here with content that seems like it's a repeat.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't want to take away from the ability of a how-to because I can't control my vlogger side and I want to put like my personal self into it rather than being like, this is how you do it. Step 1, step 2, step 3, instead of like cracking hard jokes and him having his like one-liner that he has like in every video. So I just be, drops. I should probably go with that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably go with that. It's bad because like I get in those forums and I'm like reading where someone's like, well, you got a little vloggerish, but it's like a how-to. So like I don't understand why you're vlogging, but I'm like, but won't people invest in like you rather than the information? Because the information is obtainable in a lot of different ways in a lot of different places. So I feel like it's the personality behind it that gets them to invest in your channel. But that may just be me.
So Tasha said, I need to learn how to draw blood. That I don't know how to do it.
It's super intimidating, but it's not hard.
Yeah. But it does help with someone showing you because she struggled with it quite a bit. And then
his sister is coming up. So like when you're in Cincinnati, when you move here, Tasha, move here and then I can come help you.
Mm-hmm.
But I will make like a good how-to probably in there somewhere.
She had to show her like where the vein was.
Yeah.
And I have to hold the goat.
Well, there's like you have to like where he was like holding. You can't hold it like completely up or completely turned. It has to be like at the perfect angle because like if you move the neck too far in either direction, that jugular will actually recede back into the muscle and you won't be able to find it. So like I'd have to tell him like, hey, loosen, let her head come forward a little bit.
And once we learned the tricks to it, and she got it once, like she was wrong.
I got it. Yeah.
Those little nuances.
That and like keeping pressure here while also trying to find the jugular and insert a needle. That's where I'm like trying to hold pressure and insert.
There's also just some goats. It's not as prominent. We have one goat that I think it's Belle.
She's fat.
Yeah.
She's fat, so it's really hard to find her jugular.
We feel bad because we're like.
But she's super like I'm thankful for her though because she's got a high pain tolerance, or she's just like I know it's for the greater good because she's real still.
Oh yeah.
Like she's really still.
Tasha asked also, do you claim any of your good stuff on your taxes?
We could because in Indiana I think it's a 5-acre rule to get like to become.
We've talked about it. We probably should.
And every time I go to get feed or Tractor Supply, I buy enough. They're like, "Are you tax exempt?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I should be, but I've not done that.
We really need to look into it.
We really do because we've been in this for 10 years. I mean, I don't even want to think about how much money we could save.
Oh yeah.
I won't think about that.
So, my wife and I are the two quacks, and our kids are.
I love it. I thought it was family
I love
related.
when people have their names set up around little.
That's so cute.
Like that. That's cool.
That is so cute. I love that. I thought it was family. It had something to do with your family dynamics. So.
This weekend I need to get at least half our greenhouse. There's another greenhouse.
I know.
Earlier we had a bunch of people talking about greenhouses, and now we're
make sure you film it so I can be inspired to get my butt out there and do it. But we're covered in snow right now too.
Does that mean we're green with greenhouse envy?
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, I can't say it too loud or we'll end up buying a greenhouse.
Well, the cattle panels and the greenhouse stuff to go over it. Plastic.
True. Tasha said, I invested because of your personality and want to learn all things goats.
Oh, thank you, Tasha. You're super.
Get her all choked up.
Get all choked up.
Oh,
Fat
Tasha has
happy goats.
our problem. Yeah. Ashley likes
and with dairy, that's a huge problem.
Oh God, ours we don't even.
I don't even grain mine every day. Like I grain them like.
Well, we switched from boars to Nigerian. She was graining them a bit, and then they just blew up. And she's like, "Okay, I need to cut back."
Because boars take a lot more to keep body condition.
They lose weight easy
overnight. Like if you miss a graining, you're like, what if I put you like in a concentration camp over here? You missed one feeding.
But these guys, like with our field, they'll just look fat eating pasture.
I know, because someone came there like, "What are you feeding your goats?" I'm like, "Nothing. The grass and water." Like I don't know what to do.
Our grass has high fat content apparently too.
So like right now, like I'm pushing the hay because of where they're at in their gestation. Whereas like here in the next month, I'm going to have to switch to grain. But I'm like, you guys have got to lose weight. Like, you're fat. I'm touching their tails and I can't feel the bones in them. So I'm like, you are a fatty and we need to get you on a treadmill.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying that, I'm not body shaming my goats. If a goat is overweight, it has a lot of trouble birthing and going through labor. It can cause a lot of health issues. It can even make it to where they are not very fertile if they're too obese, much like in humans. Obesity is not a good thing health-wise.
A lot more when they try to get up and sit down.
They do. I have that problem. I have that problem. Like,
Jobs Family Garden said, just being on YouTube and doing videos, you can do write-offs too for stuff you use in the videos, because if you're going for monetizing, that's a side hustle.
Drops.
There you go.
Me and you, I'm gonna have to talk with you.
Start writing off everything.
Everything. It's all free.
Yeah. We use this in the
you
video.
get a write-off for you and you and you.
Does that mean you can put your goats as dependents?
If that, and then I've got 18 dependents out there. I've got a lot of dependents. Can't wait for the next stimulus.
Sasha said, "I hate seeing how so many dairy goats look like."
I know.
Yeah.
I know, and especially when you see like a correctly conditioned dairy goat or a dairy cow, people that don't understand dairy will automatically be like, "You're starving this is emaciated." I'm like, this is a dairy animal. Mm-hmm. Like, and I understand where they're coming from, because I came from a market goat perspective. So like when I saw them and they were conditioned correctly, I'm like, what the heck is wrong with these people not feeding their goats? Mm-hmm. But then the more I got into it, I'm like, because this has a different purpose. So its body condition scoring is different.
Yep.
You learn as you go.
2 Quacks and 5 Clocks Farm said, we are filming at 11 p.m. tonight for an organic breakfast meal at Slow Cooks. Figure we should.
You are go-getters.
Oh, that's awesome. That
it does sound really fun, but like at 10 o'clock.
Or 11 p.m.
Well, I'll be snoozing.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, because he's a night owl. He will stay up literally till 1 a.m. like every morning.
Breakfast food, so
he does love breakfast food.
We'll have to check out that recipe.
Yes. He loves blizzards because then he gets milk, eggs, and bread. We have French toast.
Oh yeah.
So does everybody else in Indiana and Ohio.
Cup blizzards go like those too.
No. Well, he does like those. He does like the body shaming goats. I know, 2 Quacks, right? But you never know who's watching.
Yep. So Tasha said, I give mine grain once a day and 100% hay. Mm-hmm. Please don't tell me I can have issues with my chubby girls. You can. It's my pygmy are the 2 chunks, and
but they're meat goats. And technically pygmies are meat goats, so their body condition scoring will be if you want to see if they're obese, and I just learned this, okay? So like, where I'm gonna try to do this, like where your arm meets your chest on a goat, if you can pinch like a lot of flobber, you can get a good pinch. They're fat. I won't even go there about pinching in that area. Or their tails. So like if you go and grab your goat's tail and you feel on the fleshy part that goes up against their hoo-ha, then if you can feel, if it's really bony, they're too skinny. If there's a little bit of flesh but you can feel bone, they're in the right body condition. If you can hardly feel the bone, they're fat. Mm-hmm. I have 2 out there right now. They're fat, but they've always been fat. They're just but they both struggled in kidding last year. Mm-hmm. Both of them. One I had to pull. Like she got her halfway out and was like, I'm done. And I was like, oh no, you're not done. Like she tried to like sit on her baby, like sit like a dog would. And I was like literally pushing her in the video and like pulling the kid at the same time. Cause I'm like, you are going to crush her.
Yeah.
And then Pearl ended up losing one and her other one started out pretty weak. She, I think, had the beginning of ketosis because she was too fat. She was too fat. So you just have to feel your way through. Some goats will show ketosis like that if their nutrition is off. And you have others where it's like, I could feed them like garbage scraps and they'd be the healthiest goat out there. They have no trouble birthing, the best mothers, everything. It really does go from goat to goat. But there is a general rule of thumb that you don't want to be too fat. Mm-mm. It sucks though, because fat goats I always think are very happy goats.
And you like feed them snacks.
I do like to feed them snacks.
Jobs Family Farm says some items not used the first year can be written off over 7 years or one-time writes off.
Drops, where have you found all this out? Like,
for instance, if you buy a camera, software, etc. for YouTube, you can write off a percentage of that every year for YouTube business.
Is this after you're monetized though, because you're actually pulling revenue from YouTube?
Same thing with desk chairs, computers, even your cell phone. Man.
Drops. So glad you're in here tonight.
Drops, do you work for H&R Block? No, I'm kidding. You know a lot about tax to write off.
And we use H&R Block for our taxes.
Yeah.
That's why he's like, you work for H&R Block. Going off the tail, they aren't bad. I hope they don't have any issues with that being. First timers are always butt clinchers. When I say like butt clinchers, it's like you're clinched like the whole time. I have somehow bred like 2 or 3 first timers all in the same group, and I tried not to do that, but the way that they cycled, it somehow happened where they just all were cycling. I'm like, I'm tired of grouping. You're all going in and getting your business done. First timers, like, just stay on top of them and take notes, because usually, however a first timer's labor goes, like, they're going to be pretty true. From my experience, every kitting after that. So like I will write down like the moon, like what phase the moon was in, what were the signs, was she standoffish, when did she lose her ligaments, when did she lose her mucus plug, if I even saw that she lost a mucus plug, or how quickly from the ligament loss to labor was it. So I mean, just keep really, really good notes. It really does help the further into kitting you get.
2 Quacks and 5 Clucks said, love some good old homemade French toast. The secret ingredients of vanilla.
Yes.
We read that
I
somewhere
do that
a while
all the
back.
time. He's always
It's
like,
a game changer.
Like the first time I made it for me, he's like, this is really good. I'm like, I'll put vanilla extract into it.
Yep. Like I like French toast already, and then that
he's like,
vanilla
man,
extract,
this is really good. I'm like, I put vanilla
that
extract.
Is like a nice
and I don't even like French toast. But you guys like it, and it's a super easy breakfast.
So Drops Family Garden said, nope, you don't have to be monetized. I've been self-employed, working at home for over 20 years as a web developer and internet freelancer.
Wow.
That is awesome.
Yep. You're making me rethink a lot of things that I've been doing, which is good. I like to have my way of thinking challenged.
Yep.
Huh.
I don't know if we consider we're trying to establish a profitable or
homestead. I'd like to have it make a little bit back, but like Mark's like, then stop buying goats.
It's just a passion. That's what I call it. It's a passionable business.
But then I hate like how sometimes like people get like real worked up about like there is okay guys, he's laughing because there's a smudge on the screen over my face. Yeah, so I'm like
on her forehead. It's been here for like an hour ago.
And I've just noticed it, but now I have to give it a little scritch. Mm-hmm. So I don't like that stigma when someone's like, oh, you have a hobby farm, and they're like, no, it's a homestead. Mm-hmm. I really don't even care like what someone says that I am or what I really am by definition. Like we just kind of do our thing here. But I kind of got in my head, I'm like, hobby farm bad. Hobby farm is bad. You want to be a homestead, so I don't know.
Tasha said that her mom put vanilla extract. Yeah, it does really.
It makes a big difference, at least for him. I don't like it, so I don't eat it. I just make it for him. I like the smell
and the taste of the vanilla with the syrup too. Yeah. Like it adds a nice little touch.
It's interesting. It's interesting for sure. Well, guys, we have been on here for an hour and a half. My voice is cracking, and that's not the only reason why I'm leaving. But I have some things I need to get ready for tomorrow. We will be back here as long as no COVID hits us again or sickness or disaster. But we do lives every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We usually roll over right from Old Reading Farm, and we start our lives. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to call it quits. I really appreciate everybody that's been in here tonight. You guys have been fantastic. You've given us a lot of great interaction, and I've had some new faces in here tonight, and that always makes me super excited because I like to meet you guys. I like to get to know you like on these lives. Because you only get to know us so much, and I only get to know you so much through comments, like on regular content. This is like really where we build our community. So I'm going to sign off, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed tonight's live, and we will see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys have a great night. We'll see you next time.
Bye guys.